Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam Mataji.
Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to everyone, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji. So yesterday we stopped in sloka 40 and we'll still continue with that and close with the 41 sloka today. Okay. So there was a question asked by Subbarao Prabhuji, why the elephant like that. So in generic, actually, let me go to the prayers and then we'll have a discussion on that. To whatever extent I'm able to understand and help you all. So I will be trying to do that. So we need to understand from the basics of the Bhagavad Gita only, because Lord has his own will, how he has to descend and when he can descend, why he's descending. All those reasons actually we have studied in Bhagavad Gita, correct now? So let us go into that. So before that, let me start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam, Bhavatya Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Pavati Naistiki, Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjane Shalakaya, Chakshurun Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Tadasiva Padandikam, He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanashute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye, Vanchakalpadarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha, Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dinamini, Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini, Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschataya Deshadarine, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So reading from Bhagavatam, 5th canto, the creative impetus, and then we are studying the 20th chapter. So that is other parts of the that is Bhumandal, that is 6 dvipas. We have been studying the description of the 6 dvipas, and then which have been ruled by the 6 sons. Others, that is Jambudvipa was done by one of the sons, wherein the other 6 dvipas being ruled by the 6 sons of Priyavrata, King Priyavrata, and wherein internally those kings had seven sons, and then they divided the tract of their land into 7, and then it has been ruled, wherein the last one being only the 2 sons, and then that Pushkardipa, and then it has been handed over to the respective, that is the sons, for further ruling, and all the 7 sons of the Priyavrata, King Priyavrata, and enter into the forest for the devotional service. That means Vanaprastha stage they entered actually, and then to perform the spiritual activities. So that's how, and even in every tract of land, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been worshipped in some form actually. So that's how we have studied all these verses. Now we have come to the end of the that is Dvipas, and now we have studied Loka Aloka mountain, the golden land, and then after the Loka Aloka mountain, there is a Aloka Varsha, and beyond that it is a space actually. So till then, I think we have studied about this entire mandal, and then we'll be continuing that with respect to the conversation here. Yesterday, we read about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, actually. So the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how the Devatas are ruling, all those things we studied in the translation. So let me read once again for the further continuation here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of all transcendental opulences. So this word is very, very uh, giving us an insight or making us to understand the real position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one cannot understand everything about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead knows about him. And then he will reveal about himself to the person who has surrendered. According to their surrender, they'll be able to know. He will reveal actually. So here he is the master of all transcendental opulences, not for the only for the materialistic opulences also have been given by his mercy only. Whatever we are leading today, taking a shelter, having food, and leading a good life here in this world, that is purely because of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. So, but still, that when we are getting bonded or when we are getting attached to that, we are not able to go back to Godhead. That means we forget the Supreme Personality of God in Godhead Himself. So this forgetfulness will come when we are more inclined to the material things. Whereas if one develops the taste, that is the higher taste, that is trying to know more about by performing the Shravanam, Kirtan, that is hearing and chanting are the two ways of purifying oneself and then more, which will make more inclined towards that is the devotional service. So when one develops that such a taste, actually, they'll be able to understand the transcendental position and whatever the acharyas or the Guru Parampara is able to explain us, they'll be able to understand. They will try to understand. Here, this word which has been mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of all transcendental opulences and the master of the spiritual sky. Because the spiritual sky has been created once and it is always, that is eternal. It has been, there is no annihilation, there is no creation once again, and never it has been like frequently it has to be created and annihilated, it has to maintain. It is permanently maintained, that is eternally maintained. Can't tell permanently, it is an eternally, that means in all the times actually. One more thing is, it is that is as we have here like present, past, and future. So whereas in the spiritual, there is nothing like a past or present or future and all. It is always present actually. So it is independent of the time factor also. So we need to understand the characteristics of the eternal world, that is the spiritual sky. He is the supreme person, Bhagwan, the super soul of everyone. So without him, we will not be able to act anything here. That is, this body will not be in a active status. The demigods, led by Indra, the king of heaven, are interested with seeing the affairs of the material world. So these three lokas, here we have the upper planetary system, and then the middle one being our Bhumandal, and then that is the down will be the lower planetary system. This entire 14 lokas has been taken care by that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, and he resides in every living entity as a Paramatma. He only takes care, the maintenance has been taken care by him. To benefit all the living beings in all the varied planets and to increase the power of those elephants and of the demigods, the Lord manifests himself. Actually, yesterday there was a question asked by Subra Prabhuji, like why the elephant form actually. So in general, the strength of the elephant actually, see, there is a reason for the creation, and as we have studied in 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita, the history of Bhagavad Gita, and then why it has been created, and then how it has been maintained, why this particular form, all those things. Even Lord descends, the Leela avatars and all, in a different form still. I think the boar, he rescued the earth. So why he has to come in that form? So all those things is as per the will, and it has to be done actually. So these are all the Leelas. Like that, Lord has his will to create the thing. And we know the elephant form, if is for his own strength, and that's the powers actually. So wherein the four directions has been taken care by the powers of the elephants. That is the only reason. There is no other reason behind that, as far as the puppets is giving us the information here, and we are passing through that so many things in the Bhagavad Gita also. So Lord's will, as per the Lord's will, the creation happens actually. So like that, here the Brahma also has been created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu from the navel. So like that, every living entity which has been created for a particular purpose and particular action actually. So that's the reason they take that particular form. So there is no other intention here. The Lord manifests himself on the top of it. So in order to maintain this, so all maintenance has been taken care by the Supreme Personality of Godhead here in the form of Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. So who is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. Lord is always above the three modes. He has never been into the three modes. Though he is being the creator of the three modes, the purpose of the three modes, because we are bounded to that. So we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we want to Lord, and we want to behave like the Lord. So we think that we are also similar. So that's the reason the forgetful happens, and then we belong to the spiritual, that is a spiritual world. We come here as a visit, and then Lord also gives the opportunity, so that there are multiple opportunities here to go back to Godhead, to utilize that, and then to develop, to elevate above the three modes, and then we have to go back. But sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times, we take multiple births here, get entangled, and then more and more attached to the material things actually here. So we become the contaminated actually. The soul, being the purest form, gets contaminated when we touches the three modes of this material nature. So wherein Lord is above the three modes. So that we always, those are the characteristics which I've read in multiple parts of Bhagavatam also. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan actually speaks. So surrounded by his personal expansions, or Lord expansions. So his expansions are by the spiritual energy, and his assistants like Visvakshena. So he exhibits all his perfect opulences. So how actually this structure should be. So those things has been exhibited very perfectly, such as here we have to establish the religion, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. All these things we are following here, correct now? So Dharma being the Swadharma, or the religion. Religion means, Dharma means religion, and then religion means one's prescribed duties. And then as per the Chatur Varnam, so that has been created here. And the knowledge here is the real knowledge. It's not that soft skills, whatever we are upgrading on the day-to-day life to survive here. That is for the material management. Whereas one has to understand what is the purpose of life here, and then that gives the real knowledge actually. Who am I? And then what is his body? What is his jiva? And then how we are related to the Supreme Soul. So all those things we need to know. So that those things are given here actually. And the mystic powers, Lord possesses Ashta, that is 8 mystic one, Anima, Lagima, Mahima. So these are all, and he's being situated and is decorated by the different weapons in his 4 hands. That means in the Narayana form. So that is Shankha, Chakra, and Gada, and Padma. So this defines how actually the Lord, Supreme Lord, has created this universe, and then how he is maintaining. So that is very, very important. I humbly request the devotees to raise the hand to recite this sloka. So which is a continuation of the 40th sloka itself. Okay. Yes. Madhumai Krishna Kant Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Om
Krishna.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Akalpamevam Vesham Gata Yesha Bhagavan Atmayogamaya Virachita Vividhalokayatra Gopiyaya Iti Artha. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Subbarao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Akalpamenam Vesham Gata. Esha Bhagavan Natma Yoga Mayaya. Virajita Vividha Loka Yatra. Gopiyayetyarthaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Rana Nandini Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, प्रणाम माताजी।
Pranams,
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आकल्पमेवं वेशं गत एष भगवान् आत्मयोग मायया विराजित विविध लोक यात्रा गोपीयते अर्थः। हरे कृष्ण माताजी, थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. Chitra Mohini Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आकल्पमेवं वेशं गत एष भगवान् आत्मयोगमायया विरचित विविध लोकायात्र गोपयायेत्यर्थतः। हरे कृष्ण माताजी,
Thank you, Mataji. Anjali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Akalpam evam vesham gata esha Bhagavan Atma Yoga Mayaya Virachita Vividha Loka Yatra Gopiyaya iti Arthaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, thank you. Usha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
कृष्ण माताजी।
Hare
प्रणाम माताजी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आकल्पम एवं वेशं गतः एषा भगवान् आत्मयोग मायया विराचिता विविध लोकयात्रा गोपियाय इति अर्थः। थैंक यू माताजी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Revati Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। प्रणाम माताजी।
Pranams,
ओम
Mataji.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आकल्पम एवं वेश कदयेश भगवान आत्मयोग मायाय विरजित विविध लोक यात्रा गोपीयायेदि अर्थः। हरे कृष्ण माताजी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Mataji. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी।
Dandavat pranams.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आकल्पमेवं वेशं गता एष भगवान् आत्मयोगमायया विरचित विविध लोक यात्रा गोपिया इति अर्थः। थैंक यू माताजी। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Vijaya Kumari Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। धन्यवाद प्रणाम माताजी। ओम
Dandavat
नमो
pranams.
भगवते वासुदेवाय। आकल्पम एवं वेशम कद एष भगवत् आत्मयोग मायया विरचित विविध लोक यात्रा गोपिया इति अर्थः। थैंक यू माताजी।
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pushpa Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी। प्रणाम माताजी। ओम
Pranams,
नमो
Mataji.
भगवते वासुदेवाय। कल्पमेवं वेश कदयेश भगवान् आत्मयोगमायया विरचित विविध लोकयात्रा गोपीया इति अर्थः। हरे कृष्ण माताजी। थैंक यू
Hare
माताजी।
Krishna. Hare Krishna. आकल्पमेवं वेशं गत एष भगवान् आत्मयोगमायया विचारिता विविधा लोका यत्र गोपीयाय यतेत् अर्थः। Synonyms. Akalpam, for the duration of the time of creation. Evam, thus. Vesham, appearance. Gataha, as accepted. Eshaha, this. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atma Yoga Mayaya, by his own internal, that is spiritual potency. Vicharita, perfected. Vividha Loka Yatra, the livelihood of the various planetary systems. Gopi Yaya, just to maintain. Iti, thus. Arthaha, the purpose. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The various forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Narayana and Vishnu, are beautifully decorated with different weapons. The Lord exhibits those forms to maintain all the varied planets created by his personal potency, Yogamaya. Purport by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Lord Krishna said, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. I appear by my internal potency. The word Atma Mayaya here, that means Atma. So everyone, we are also Jivatma. So like that, the Supreme Lord is Paramatma. So his own, that is personal potency, that is the energy, that is called as Yoga Maya. So generally in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, when we have attended the classes, actually, the second or third sloka, there is I think it comes in one of the Upanishad also. This body is referred to a tree. I think it's in that is Upanishad, Mandaka Upanishad or Katha Upanishad. I am not able to recollect it. So this body is referred as a tree, and there are two birds, wherein one bird will be eating the fruits of the tree, and the other bird will be only the witness bird. So that witness bird is only the super soul, that is the Paramatma. So because of his presence only, we are able to move actively, and this that means we are calling this as a Jiva is alive. Actually, the consciousness is there. So if a Paramatma is not present, actually, the Jivatma also will not be there, and then this body is referred as a dead body only. Correct, na? So Jiva forgets fully, that is when it wants to lord it over this material nature, the Jiva forgets actually about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how he has come here. He forgets, and he thinks he is the doer, all those things. He takes all the fruits of the tree, some may be the good, some may be little sour. That means that defines the variations in the whatever we experience in the day-to-day life. So whatever activities will get involved, because of that we may get sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. So sometimes we'll be sober, sometimes we'll be peaceful, like that. So the Jiva is eating the fruits of the tree, and then wherein whatever the activities we are performing, that is the eating process, how we are performing our karmic actions, the Supreme Lord is always witnessing. So he is always seeing what action we are performing for particular activity. So accordingly, the pious and impious balance will get updated actually, and we get the another body based on these activities only, the reactions of these activities. So here, the Jiva, if Jiva is performing the activity which is in the materialistic mode or in a conditioned mode, so he is totally covered by the Maya. So that means the Jiva being covered by the shuttle body and then by the gross body. So here is totally the vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in what way we are eternally related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will be the only person with us till the last. That means always he is available with us. He is the only person. So that we forget actually, totally we forget. So that means the Jiva is totally covered by the Mahamaya. That means here by the three modes of material nature. So the Lord Durga Devi, she is ruling, and then that is the Mahamaya we are covered. And then beyond the Mahamaya only, when one living entity strives to know who am I, and then what I need to do, what is my primary goal. So that means he is coming out of that Mahamaya, and then he has to visualize beyond the Yogamaya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Yogamaya is the personal potency or the spiritual potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Using that, wherein the eight, that is Panchamahabhutas, intelligence, mind, and the false ego. These are the eight material elements actually which has been separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those has been actually put into the track, and it is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through this actually, this how actually the Lord acts through the Yogamaya. So he never get into touch with the material, that is the Bhagiranga Shakti. He always performs with the Antaranga Shakti, that is the Yogamaya. After creating both the material world and spiritual world, once it is created, it is always eternal. Whereas the material world, which is based on the time factor, so it is as per the Kala. So during the daytime of the Brahma, the creation will happen, that is a Kalpa. And similarly, the same amount of time is for the night time, wherein the small annihilations and all will be, that is Mahapralaya will happen after the 100 years of the Brahma, wherein for every Kalpa, when we have that, what is the daytime of the Brahma, the creations will occur, the Brahma will start creating the living entities, and then during the night time of the Brahma, that also is equal to the same Kalpa timings, and then the annihilation, the small pralayas will happen actually. This is what we have read actually in Bhagavad Gita also. Correct now? So, but the creating of both the material world, that is through the potency of the Supreme God. So this material world, under the material energy, it has been created by the secondary created, the primarily the universes has been created by the Supreme Lord, wherein internally the living entities has been created by Brahma. So wherein that is his primary duty, and then the maintenance being taken care by the Shirodakashaya Vishnu, and annihilation by at the time of annihilation, Shiva performs the Rudra, and then so he always meditates on Sankarshan. This we have studied in the previous chapters also. So like that. So this how the process is always happening. So the maintenance part only we are seeing here in this slokas, wherein the structural representation of this universe has been spoken and how it has been created and well maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Narayana or the Vishnu form, that is 400 form. And the spiritual world through Yogamaya. Spiritual world is totally different. It is always self-illuminated and always maintained, and it is not having any time factor. It is not under the time factor, whereas here we have the time factor. So all the time factor is bound with the particular timings, and with respect to the distance or the weight, all those things has been maintained actually. The Supreme Personality of Godhead personally maintains them by expanding himself. So here the expansion, that is by his energy. So different categories of as the Vishnu Murtis and Devatas. So first creation being the Devatas actually. He maintains the material creation from the beginning to end. So as we have seen in the Goloka chart, when Lord exhales, the creation happens. The universes actually come out of the pores of his body, and also through the in exhalation from the nose. So all those things happen, and every universe has been kept under one particular position by the energy levels of the Supreme Lord. This we have studied in Goloka chart. And his own expansion, that is the Karnodakasaya Vishnu's expansion, enters into the each and every universe as the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and from his navel the lotus flowers sprungs actually, and in the stem there are 14 lokas. That is, in majorly if you divide, there are the 3 lokas, upper planetary, middle one and lower one, and from the lotus flower Brahma is being created actually. So and he takes care of the secondary creation. So like that, every creation has been under the vision of the Yogamaya, that is under the control of the Yogamaya. So he's been maintaining this everything as per the time factor. And he personally maintains the spiritual. There he is always available. So Krishna never leaves the Goloka, but only his Vishnu Tattvas, Vishnu Murtis only come here, descends here, and then if it is as per the will, every yuga. That's what we study in Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya, when actually the Lord will come here. Glanir Bhavati, when there are disturbances here. So Bhavati Bharata Abhyuthanam Adharmasya Tadatmanam Srijami Aham. So he always comes here to rescue his devotees. That is the primary thing. And while rescuing, he established the Dharma by annihilating the Adharma here. So these things, and every yuga, that means in Satya Yuga also he has come, in Treta Yuga also he has come, and in Dwapara Yuga also he came. Now in Kali Yuga, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended to That is for the fallen conditioned souls. He want to rescue the fallen conditioned souls. He gave Nam Sankirtana. And at the end of this Kali Yuga also, Lord will descend as Kalki Avatar and then everything will get annihilated. This is how, as per the plan, as per the will of the Lord, actually. This is a very degraded Yuga. Still, there are many benefits of this Yuga that we need to take. So by thinking that is rightly, by thinking the pious things right, even by thinking, that is, I want to do some goodness, good thing, I want to do some seva, all those things also lead to the pious deeds, actually. So wherein in other yugas, it is not like that. Even if you think wrongly, also the sin will get occurred. But Kali Yuga, it is so degraded. But even if you are performing the austerities by mentally in the internal, in the heart, that also is accountable, actually. That also is considered. So we need to take the advantage of this Kali Yuga and then perform and follow the principles of our previous acharyas, and then continue to perform the devotional service. That will at least it will help us to go back to Godhead. That is the minimum level. Wherein for a pure devotee, I think they are not bothered about where they are there. It may be hell or heaven. Their only thing is they will pray to the God, that is Supreme Lord, to always remember Him, always remember Him. That is the only thing they will pray. So like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swayam Bhagavan, but he played the role of a devotee, and then na denam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavathat bhaktir haituki tvai. So that means he wants he doesn't want anything related to this material thing. He wants only to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead wherever he is there. So that higher level perfection, we really don't know whether we'll be able to achieve. At least we try to follow the footsteps of the acharyas and continue to perform our sadhana. So that will elevate one day to reach that destination. So what destination let Krishna dispose, and then we only strive for, that is, we only perform the activities. So one should develop that mood and then continue to perform the devotional service. Okay, with this I conclude today's session. If any doubts or any clarification, Subbarao Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So whatever I was able to understand from the purpose of Srila Prabhupada is like, for as we have read through Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So as per the will of the in 9th chapter, how actually Lord is performing the creation, everything has its own reasons, actually. And if you consider for the elephant, like how he took the boar form to rescue Mother Earth, like that, for everything there is a reason. So elephant is meant for his Paurush, actually, correct now? So Bala. So that may be one of the reason. That is, I don't want to speculate, but that is the reason also. But if there is any other reason, if I come across, surely I will let you know. But whatever I have understood from the purpose is, for every creation, there is a reason behind and why it has been created. And that's how the maintenance been taken care of, Prabhuji. So this is what my understanding from the purpose. If any other thought process, other devotees would like to share here, please feel free to come forward and you can give the explanation.
Hare Krishna
Yes.
Mataji. Here
Yes,
is
Prabhuji.
written in purport, Mataji.
Yes.
By expanding himself in different categories as Vishnu Murtis and the demigods. That gives little clarification from Mataji, because expansion as Vishnu Murti is understandable. Expansion as demigods. Again, demigods become like our normal souls only, no, Mataji?
Yes, as we know, Prabhuji, we are also the parcel of Supreme Lord. Jivas are also. If we are in this world, everything are like Jivas only, except the Lord's incarnation. So, like even Satya Avish avatars are also Jiva Tattva only. That's what we have studied, correct na? All these cantos, third, fourth canto, if you take Prithu Maharaj, being a Shakti Avish avatar, so he also comes under the category of the Shakti Avish avatar, correct na? That means he possesses some characteristics of that means some quality, we can tell, specific quality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With that, he has taken the avatar for one particular purpose, actually. Correct, na? So he wants the King Vena being his father being a very arrogant king, and then he was killed by the Brahmanas by the curse only. Okay, so ultimately this world has to be taken care. This creation has been done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead for some purpose, wherein we are the root cause for that. We want to lord here, and then we want to rule others. That's the reason we have come here. Okay, but still he takes the responsibility of maintaining us, actually, because he has sent us here and we have to also be maintained. Correct, now? Sometimes he will be having his own expansions. All expansions here, everything is only in the energy form that we need. From his energy only the expansions, all those things come, Prabhuji. And the initial creation he did actually for that is Devatas only was created first. So if you take the secondary creation by Brahma, so Shiva came first from that is 4 Kumaras came, like that. In the 3rd chapter we would have studied. So indirectly Lord is involved, wherein directly the specific Devata takes care. If you take in the Devatas, Shiva and Brahma being the highest level we have seen. So here Brahma can create Shiva, and Shiva is he is the father of this universe. Actually, we pray to him, and then for getting the knowledge, the real knowledge. So one should pray Shiva to get the knowledge, that is to get clear of the ignorance, actually, not for the material opulences. Material opulence also he gives, but that's how actually the 95% people here in Kali Yuga, they pray for the opulences only. That's not the right. Wherein the Devatas being all has been creation from the jivas or all the spiritual sparks, Prabhuji. When we are a very, very normal tiny sparks, we ourselves are the part and parcel of him. Then how come, that is we can relate. The Devatas are also, they are in the higher position than us, because they get retained in the sattva guna, wherein we are majorly inclined towards the rajo and the tamasic gun. Correct? We are more degraded than them. Correct, now? And they have been created they are given special empowerment to take care of these worlds, actually, for a particular task. So obviously Vishnumurtis and the next level being the Devatas are also having some spiritual things, wherein they get retained in the Sattva Guna, Prabhuji. This is what the understanding I was able to make it there. So if you are able to accept it, or if you want to ask any clarification, please feel to ask me.
Because this gives a scope for those who are devotees of the demigods, Mataji, because we normally won't encourage them. Antavat phalan tesham alpamedasa only will pray demigods. But when
demigods say, even if you see in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, see, we need to respect, because they have been, for example, if you take an organization, actually, okay, the owner of the organization, allegorically we can compare with the Supreme Lord. Actually, he knows everything. He knows every department. He knows each and everything, what he has to be done for each and every employee. Correct, now? Like that, Lord knows everyone. He knows everyone, actually. And then what needs to be given for everyone. So like that, to manage things, he is not directly involved. He has indirectly given his representatives. Demigods are also the representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are given a special empowerment. So nothing, I think, in that wrong, actually. But when you compare, that is, it doesn't encourage anything like you have to, in the context, whatever it has been mentioned there by Srila Prabhupada, there is no inclination for worship and all that. Even in the previous verses, whatever we have read, like Varuna, Agni, and all, we are in that form. In that form, they are actually worshipping the Supreme Personality of God. That is indirectly, that means. So they are thinking about the Supreme Lord, and then even the deity also they are worshipping. That's what we have studied, actually. Correct, na? Any doubts, Prabhuji, in that? So we have to think.
It is a wrong way they are worshipping like that. It is told.
No, they are. That's correct. Devata worship is like a wrong way of worship, where the Supreme Lord is speaking is like everything is coming from him only. Whatever benedictions we are taking from the Devatas, See, why even in one of the slokas in Bhagavad Gita also, one particular devata, if a living entity is having inclination, he only confirms to do that. That verse also is there in Bhagavad Gita. You would have read. Why? Because if you are not at all worshipping anyone, nothing you are doing, you are in total darkness, means your life, if you are taken a birth as a human, and if you are not inclined, totally ignorant, means the next life will be the degraded life. You may go to the animal life or even plant life, or you may go down also. You may have only Atmaha that we have studied, correct now? That is killer of the soul. To that portion also we may lead. We'll be continuously doing the sinful activities. Instead of going to the degraded mode, at least if you have, that is inclination to worship to Devata, that also Supreme Lord only confirms internally as a Paramatma, he makes us to worship that. Why? Because after many births, if you are able to worship the Devatas, and then at one point of time, we will get satiated here actually. Materialist things will get satiated, Prabhuji. Only the spiritual things only. How many times we will be going and asking the Devatas also, I want this, yeah, I want this, I want that. At one point of life, you will not have anything to ask. So that time, the Devatas only will push us actually. If you're not asking anything, yes, this is the path, you can go. Okay, and then the worship of the Supreme Lord will get the opportunity, and then we'll be able to. Once you complete this quota, so everyone's life, that is devotional life, is totally, that is the spiritual life, is totally unique, Prabhuji, in this world. We all came in that path only, correct now? So when we have completed the quota, if somebody will be very pious in the previous thing, they would have directly got worshipping the Supreme Lord right from the childhood only. That is their good deed or Shukriti, we can tell. Whereas not everyone have that opportunity. Even we have also prayed the Devatas earlier before coming to Krishna consciousness, correct now? But now we understand we should, what we need to do, that we have understood. So everything is coming. We need to pour water to the root of the plant instead of putting the water on the branches of the and the leaves, flowers, and what is that fruits of the tree. Correct now? So if you put water to the root, everything will get nourished. So like that, if we pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so everything, whatever we have to get as per our fate, we will certainly will get. So this type of maturity will not come at the initial phase, Prabhuji. So we have to strive for that. So when we are getting stabilized, so there is nothing to be owned here. And then this loka is like the dukhalayam, ashashvatam. Everything we are able to, just by reading only, we will not be able to realize. When we are experiencing, when we are involved attentively and taking further the realization, accordingly the actions we are performing in the day-to-day tasks actually. And by performing the devotional service to the Supreme Lord, like taking the prasad, offering the prasad, and then having sadhu sangha, reading Srila Prabhupada books and all. So we'll certainly, our devotional path will be actually, it will be elevated actually. That means it will get a perfection. So that time we'll realize Devata worship is, it should be done in the, we should respect them, and then we should do the, that is offering or to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if you offer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Devatas, they will be very happy. So that's how actually it has been, we have studied in Bhagavad Gita also, correct now? So many births we take, even if we worship. In Puri Yatra, I have met one of the, this I want to share it actually here. One Tamil devotee, she being a doctor actually. She was very much inclined. She came to Yatra and all, she attended the classes. I don't know, now she's not continuing classes actually. She was very much inclination to the Devata worship. So he was speaking that. I didn't speak anything there because that is not the right way to explain there. Because one's faith, their completion, what way they have understood. After coming to the Bhagavad Gita classes also, if you are still inclined, means still they have to understand what is the Devata worship and how it has to be performed. So even with Devata, we do business only. Correct now? I will do this. Please give me the path. Please show me your blessings. Correct, na? So like that we do with that's purely a business dealing. But when we don't have anything to ask with the Devata, and if we ask Jnana, that position actually will be able to get the direction of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we get that is when the quota is completed, then only we'll be able to get into the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that time we'll be like, we will respect only the Devatas actually. We won't go and worship actually. So that's how we need to. Whatever the blessings we are receiving from Devatas, because the empowerment given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with that only they are, benedictions only they are offering, they are giving us, they are showering on us. So that way we are not aware. So that's why it has been told in Bhagavad Gita also, that's a wrong way of worship actually. We think that Devatas are giving the blessings. So why Supreme Personality has not showered? We are not able to realize he has given so much. So everything comes from him. That thing we are never realized. So that knowledge has not been taught. That's why Prabhupada used to tell. So what we are studying in the school, nothing we are studying about the life. We are studying for maintaining ourselves in this material world. So the real knowledge has been never taught to us. If these things has been taught in our first standard or second standard, 1 sloka, 2 sloka, if this Bhagavad Gita has been included in our curriculum, today I think this much, havocs, whatever we are seeing, fighting, correct na? The war is going on. Only we are upgrading the weapons against each other. So those things and all, whatever the investments we are making, those things can be given for the welfare of the society by developing the Krishna consciousness. Correct, no, Prabhuji? So
Yes,
we need to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the right way, wherein all the benedictions are coming from him and everything has been as per his guidance only. The Devatas are taking care. So for one particular department, every Devata has been given some assignment. So for example, in an organization, how the head of the departments will work, like that only Devatas are working. So first phase, Devatas are only created. So that's why maybe that intention only it has been put there. So all are being created by his energy only, to the lower level of ant also. Okay, that is also a jiva, right from Brahma to the ant. Okay, so all are jivatmas only, Prabhuji. Only the position is different and the responsibility is different. That's what the category has come. Nothing else, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
I don't know
Krishna,
whether I answered your question or not. This is the way of understanding.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. You explained it nicely.
Thank you, Mataji.
Very
Any
nicely
other?
explained, Mataji. Very nicely explained. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you all of it's all information are there in the Prabhupada's purports, and then that's how we have been sailing. So let us sail in that same mode. Okay.
Mataji, in the purport, in this purport, it is given Krishna maintains the material worlds from beginning to end.
Yes.
And in other line, it is written like he maintains a spiritual world, personally maintains a spiritual world, Mataji.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what exactly the difference? Like it's like for eternal he maintains, or and here the limitation is
here
also.
Actually he is always available in the spiritual world, whereas his energy levels on only the expansions. Like we have studied Krishna expands to Balram, and then first Chatur, that is Sankarshna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. So all those expansions happens. Correct, no, Mataji? These are all from this that is the spiritual potency, wherein Lord is always available in the spiritual world. Here his expansions are only maintaining the things, his spiritual energy, that is Yoga Maya. And then we have studied in Bhagavad Gita also is 8 material elements, which has been come, that is, it has been separated from him. So these material elements is never been we are all part of the material elements, whereas Lord is not part of the material element. He has been maintaining that material element by his Yoga Maya. That's why here it is a maintenance. Okay, wherein the original, that is Supreme Personality of God, always resides in the spiritual world.
Okay, Mataji. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Everywhere he only maintains Mataji. So wherein there is no
Yes,
time
yes,
factor,
Mataji.
wherein there is no time factor, once it is created, there is nothing. It is
It's like office
self-eliminated.
and home, Mataji.
Yeah.
Office and
It's,
home kind of thing.
yes, yes. It's there. It is always available. Whereas here, there is here it is like creation, maintain, and annihilation in the sense it will go inside him only. So inhalation and exhalation. So when he exhales, that is Arnoda Kasai Vishnu, all the universes springs out and then like a pearls in a strand. Correct na? We have studied in Bhagavad Gita. So and everything in his one position by his energy only. So if you see, visualize in the Goloka chart, there will be like a cloud kind of thing and the Mahatattva. Correct na? In that Mahatattva, multiple universes are actually situated. How actually it is been situated by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everything under his energy only. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any other doubts? More topics are related, Mataji, here in this thing. So I think we have to go and recollect. 4th chapter, 9th chapter, in the first 10 or 12 verses, if you read, I think you can correlate this verse there actually.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Vancha
Krishna,
kalpa,
Mataji.
vancha
Dhanyavad.
kalpadaru. Dhanyavad. Thank you all. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpadarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare